it was interesting because I was looking on the spiritual side of things, because that's where we need to go, because the world, trust me, it does not have the answers, as you see, the horrible inconsistencies. And, I think you get to a point where you go, okay, is this what you want me to do? I'm doing it. No, you're not doing it right. There's nothing more frustrating than for you to try to say, is this what you want me to do? And then for a person just to say, well, you're still not doing it right.
Right.
And that can happen, sadly, inside the church as well. Well, you guys do talk about Jesus, but you don't do it right. And but anyway, so going to Scripture and looking, we find interesting this point in Genesis chapter 6. And this is, of course, before God destroys the whole world, except for Noah and his family. And it says that the Lord saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of the heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So, and then it says, that's when he says, I'm going to blot out all mankind and the animals and everything, except what I'm going to put on the ark. Of course, the ark, looking forward to all of those in Jesus, will not receive the final wrath of God. Right. Jesus is the ark, and those that get on it will not receive the wrath of God, and those that don't will. So I thought, well, then I'm going to look over in Matthew 24, and then I'm going to see what Jesus said about this very thing. And so Jesus says that for as were the days of Noah. Mm-hmm. All right, so we know when we got. So in order to understand what Jesus is talking about, you got to go back to the days of Noah.
Right.
So in the days of Noah, it said mankind was so evil that God grieved and regretted he ever made mankind. And he said, so I will wipe them off the face of the earth except this bunch right here. And then I'll do a new beginning with them. Okay? So Jesus says, and all he's talking about in Matthew 24 is the end times when he's going to come back.
Right.
Okay? So he says,
the second coming.
Yeah, for as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Mm-hmm. Okay? For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark, meaning people out there that were all evil, they didn't think anything about it. They thought Noah was an idiot, just like people think all of you who follow Jesus are idiots now. And it says, Noah entered the ark just as everybody else was carrying on their evil, and they were unaware until the flood came. And then he says, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. So if you want to take the two and put them next to each other, you got Old Testament, Jesus is the ark, and then you got Jesus saying in the New Testament, the way things happened to the world in Noah's day, when you see that kind of society again, just like then, people are going to be carrying on like it's no big deal, and they didn't know it until the ark was shut and the floods came and wiped everybody out. So will be the same thing about the coming of the Son of Man. I'd pay attention to that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen this week, and we may all be dead and gone when it does happen. But it's important to pay attention to Scripture. And when you take those two things and lay them side by side, it is an interesting look. Especially when you look out and you see what you see all across the world with pestilence and pandemics and death and raging and violence. And then people have become unreasonable. Right. Which is what Jesus said, look for. There used to be a time we go, I disagree with you, here's the problem, we need to fix it, and this is what you need to do to fix it. Now it's just a bunch of screaming and yelling, and there's no solution offered or any solution that's acceptable.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.